computer. Hi team, welcome to part 3 of our 4-part quiz series featuring me. And today you get to see Caitlin. She's here. Maybe she'll say something, maybe she won't. We don't know at this point. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I wish you could swipe up. It's normally there with the YouTubers. I don't know how they do that, and I'm sure that there's something cool with it. I don't know, but I would like to get 10 plus YouTube subscribers. So I'm YouTube famous.
I should not do that with my hands, but 10.
Yeah, so let's jump right in. So part 3 is going to be how to grade in Illuminate. As we're jumping into this, I'm using the 3rd and 4th grade Illuminate practice test for grading. It will look pretty the same when you jump into your math unit tests. Remember, quizzes names changed to unit tests. They're no longer called math quizzes with all the other things. So let's start screen sharing. I, in advance, loaded up Illuminate. The first thing, and this is actually kind of nice that I have this issue. So it says that I'm part of Achievement First Hartford Elementary. I'm not anymore, was for 7 years, and Illuminate won't learn me, even though I have changed it repeatedly. So the first thing you should do when you log into Illuminate, otherwise you're going to be pretty stressed out, is go to the control panel. It's these cool little buttony things in the top right corner. And what you want to do is make sure that you are listed as a Providence Mayoral Elementary School teacher. They also have the old name for a school. Let it be. Save changes, and then for me, it'll bop me back into Hartford within like the next 45 minutes. So I just check it, and you can see already that there's this bubble that popped up that said constructed responses to grade. I'm not going to use that feature, mostly because I'm old and I don't know how to use new things. If you want to learn it, Google Illuminate and figure it out. But I'm going to show you the old school way that I know how to do. And then if you have a cool friend that knows how to do it a different way, give them a hug. View assessments, or don't give them a hug because of COVID-19, give them an air hug. Again, this is the exact same thing that I showed you on how to locate assessments. I'm going through, I clicked view assessments, all assessments, and then just for me, because it is a lot easier, I'm literally using Central F for find, and then I'm scrolling down until I see the ES practice Illuminate assessment. When I click into it, it's going to look a lot different than it did the last couple times I opened this for you all. You can actually see that there's data in. And it's showing me data for K 1, 2, 3, and 4 right now. That's weird. Whatever. It's showing me all the grade levels, and there's 5 grade levels, but I got to 4 and realized what I was doing with my hands. And I'm going to start by filtering students. There will be very few times where you have all grade levels data in one thing unless something has gone really badly awry and Illuminate. This is one of those few times. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to start to filter so that I can grade my homeroom class. For today, I am Marissa Edwards. And I typed in Marissa's first 3 letters of her name. You can try the ED, whatever your letters are that you're typing in. It doesn't mean you need to know your code. I click in, see what it generates, and you're also more than welcome to then drop down into these classes that are filtered. I am unsure in this moment when I'm presenting to you the exact class code associated with Marissa's math class. So what I'm going to do is just go straight forward with Marissa Edwards. Once humanities quizzes start, this is going to get trickier and we'll need to be more cognizant of the coding that we're using. Keeping all students, keeping all classes. I don't need to filter by department or courses right now. And I'm going to click submit. Give it a second. So this is literally how you find your specific data. So right now it shows that there are 5 kids that have taken this test for Marissa. The 5 kids have gotten all in the red. They're below mastery. This is because almost every single problem in this initial assessment is a graded problem. So it's going to show up as like really red. So if you're someone that's like a very data-driven person that gets anxious when your data doesn't look good, it's me. Please be kind to yourself when you open this data panel up before you start grading. So now I've filtered, I can start to see kids did really well on question 4 and question 3. Overwhelming 6, 5, and 1 they did poorly on, and these are potentially all open-ended questions. I know one is where they type your name in, is where they type in the planets. And then down here, you can actually see a really cool data breakdown. This shows the demographic breakdown or the subgroup breakdown within the classroom. So non-LEP, special ed students, LEP students, white, Hispanic, Black, or African American. And this is all based on Illuminate data that feeds in here. We talk a lot about the gap within the gap between our SPED and L, SPED, non-SPED, L, non-L students, and what it actually says about our teaching practices if we're providing an equitable education. I think it's also really powerful to talk about equitable education in terms of like race as well, especially if you notice a big gap. That's a moment to do some self-reflection in like the data-driven component of your work. None of this was supposed to come up in this PD because I was supposed to do that tomorrow. All right, let's go to reports. So at the top, I need to say this to you, at the top, there's a button that says reports. I'm clicking into it because Illuminate is being used pretty intensely right now. It's going to take a second for this to load. When I get into reports, there are an insane amount of cool reports that Illuminate provides to us that filter data in new and unique ways. Unfortunately, this is taking an incredibly long time for it to load right now, so I'm going to continue to ad-lib. Please feel free to, there you go. All right, so you can see my top used reports. So I was a big fan of the peer comparison report. We're not doing peer comparison based data this year, or at least not for the first chapter. And then parent-student letters, I will show this to you in the data-driven PD, but matrix report is another great thing to go to in student responses. These are all reports that you'll need to use to make sure that all your data is in. So I show you that in advance, but now I'm going to go to the place that you can actually grade. So I'm going to say it really clearly. You click administration, drop down, get to the words enter edit, select it, let it load up. I'm going to do, even though I selected Marissa before, and even though I'm Marissa Edwards for this video, every time it resets. So just be cognizant of that. I'm going to type in Edwards, Marissa again, let it load just slightly. Don't put any other filters on it unless you're in a different type of quiz, and then click find students. Right now, you can see the panel that's called by grid. This grading is by grid, and so you can really quickly get a visual snapshot of what kids know and what they're struggling with. So we can see that question 1, 5, and 6 were all open-ended questions. Questions 2, 3, and 4 were multiple choice questions. I can see that Lanaya did not finish her test, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids don't have their data in. And this is possibly because they didn't press finish. If you see this, this is one of those moments where you can press finish on your end as a teacher, but this is like, you should be monitoring this to make sure that they did press that finish button. I don't like grading like this because you actually can't see the open-ended responses. So I do it by student. Hold on just a second, let it load. Now, trick that works really well here is every time you switch a kid and every time you switch a problem, make sure you give a second to see that everything matches up properly. If it doesn't, you're in trouble and you're putting the grades in for a wrong location. So just be patient. If you have better internet than me, then you'll probably go a lot faster. Right now I'm in the office, I have bad internet, and I'm actually legitimately using my hotspot to get internet now. Okay, so it says her name is Trinity. I'm going to give her 1 point because her name is Trinity. I do think it asked her for first and last name, and I'm not going to, that's not the purpose right now. I'm going to go to question 5, wait for it to load up. Okay. Question 5, it's loading. Still says question 1 up here. So things have going so slow. See what happens if I now play around with like everything on the screen. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. Well, let's go back to 5 and see if it'll give me anything. Question 6 did load. Oh, okay. So the question, the answer is butterflies. And I'm trying to remember what the actual question itself is. which is where I should model.
What do caterpillars turn into?
Oh my gosh, Miss Moran, thanks for hopping in and telling me. One of the things that I didn't name for y'all is when you're grading, there are actual grading rubrics. So let me duplicate this really quickly, make this more realistic. Setup, materials, I showed you this all before, but there's a teacher test booklet that I didn't have up next to me, and that's not okay because the practice itself isn't strong enough when I don't model it correctly. So I apologize. You can put a thumbs down on my YouTube channel if you want, subscribe, live, laugh, love. Okay, so the assessment is loading really quickly, and then I can pop it up. So I'm going to toggle between the two, or you can do a dual pane if that's what you're into. I'm going to try it right now. There we go. Miss Moran, can you see both the grading rubric and the, okay, great. All right, so now I know that the question, and she got it, it's butterflies, so I'm gonna give her 1 point, and then I'm gonna go to question 6. I'm gonna scroll down to question 6. It says there are 8 planets in the solar system, name 3, write your answer below. She wrote Earth, Mars, Sun, and Venus. I know that the sun is not a planet, and she gave me 3 with an addition of 1. If this was a math quiz and something like that happened, I would probably take a point away, but for the purposes of this, I actually think she really crushed it. And I'm actually proud of her. Let's go to Raul. So Raul doesn't have any data in, so I know, and I'm taking notes on a piece of paper next to me, I need to go back into his work and see what went wrong. One of the things I can do when that's the case is I can go to online testing. This is another skill I'm showing you that I'm talking very quickly over. Okay, got it. And I'm actually going to go to the live proctoring component. So right now, they're very challenging to figure out which each of them stands for. Let's go to the aggregated view of our 88 students. And it has Micah's name in it, so I know that this is 4th grade. Eugene, 4th grade, go back. So let's go to the 54 student view. And I'm gonna go find Raul. I use that search feature again, and it shows that he was in the review stages, that he never finished his assessment. And so what I'm gonna do right now, this is another skill I'm giving to you all, is I'm gonna go to actions and click force finish. I'm a little bit concerned that FAMU is actually in their testing right now, so I'm not going to force finish Raul because it's possible that he is actually taking the assessment. But all of the kiddos in here that you see that have not completed the test, these white boxes, those kids would need to be force finished. But I'm not going to do that right now because it's possible that their teachers put them on break and then they're going to come back, and I don't want to do that to them. If that's ever the case and you force finish someone, if I clicked force finish on this kiddo, says successfully force finished, I can actually click reopen again. So please do not text Ada, myself, Caitlin, when a kid by accident force finishes, or when they click finish. You can go back and successfully reopen a test on your own, and it makes it a lot faster. So I know that Raul is still taking the test. I'm going to go to Brian, and I'm going to do the same process of he's not done quite yet. Marjorie is done. So I see that she has D, C, and B as these answers. Let's see if she typed her name in. Marjorie, great. Making sure that I have all of the right things. I'm gonna drop down and give her a 1. I'm gonna continue to do this process, and I move through. You can use these arrows also to move to a new kid. And then if you wanna get crazy, you're also more than welcome to grade by question. So there's by grid, there's by student, and there's by question. When you do by question, it's a drop down of the number at the top, and you just need to wait for the kid, see Evelyn McLean, we're waiting to see if her name, good, she put her name in, and I'll give her that point and I can drop it down. So there's 3 different ways of grading. By grid you can't see the open-ended responses, so you can't do that. By student or by question, those are all options. And what you just wanna see is down here, it says that I have crazy questions or something, but it says that autosave is turned on and that it's saved. So if I was to go to Lanaya, no answer value, so she's not done, she didn't submit. Jomar, no answer value, didn't submit. Briseida, I know Briseida didn't finish yet. no answer value. And then Lyric did type her name. Watch what happens at the bottom when I make a change. 1 point. It's going to auto save itself. It's saving and it's saved. Move on once you see the saved feature. It's just the way that Illuminate does that. If you do not see this happening, your internet is being funky, and that means that you should stop, reassess your internet, because it actually can cut out entirely. Okay, so stop sharing. Today, I talked you through, once again, how to find the assessment online. I didn't mean to, and I talked you through a bunch of data-driven stuff, and so I apologize for that. It's okay. But I talked you through where to find the assessment online. I then talked you through how to filter for your own section. So you saw me become Marissa Edwards for this. I used then administration, drop down, enter, edit, and you got to see me grading in 3 different ways, more like 2. Patrice is like, yeah, she doesn't have 3 ways. The first way is by grid, and by grid only works when you need to type in multiple choice answers, and it's just really fast. By student, if you want to grade the entire student's assessment, it's great when you don't have all of the data in. And then finally, by question. I go with by question for interim assessments, IAs, because I can say I'm just going to.
Sorry, you might have frozen.
No. Okay. Caitlin, you are frozen, and I'm hoping that this will keep going. Internet is unstable. Okay, team, good luck, and I hope that you get this all. If you have any questions, reach out. Woohoo!